My sister was so sure I'd give her my house that she gave up her lease and moved her belongings in. While I was away, her face when she realized she'd either be homeless or arrested was priceless. After years of saving and living frugally, I finally bought my dream apartment 2 years ago, a beautiful two-bedroom place in a high-rise downtown. The master bedroom is honestly spectacular. It's huge, has an ensuite bathroom with a soaking tub and separate shower, a walk-in closet, bigger than some people's bedrooms, and floor-to-ceiling windows with a private balcony overlooking the Space Needle and Puget Sound. I've poured my heart and money into making this space perfect. Custom California closets organization system, automated blackout curtains, a built-in workspace with triple monitors for when I work from home, a reading nook with built-in bookshelves and art pieces I've collected from my travels to Japan and Europe. The suite has heated floors, a bidet, and a rain shower system I splurged on. This room is my sanctuary. My sister Emily, 26F, works as an elementary school teacher. She's always been the baby of the family, and I'll admit probably got away with more growing up. But we've had a good relationship until now. She got engaged last month to her boyfriend Tyler, 27M, who works in retail management. They've been together for 3 years and currently rent a studio apartment in a less expensive part of the city. Since the engagement, Emily has been visiting more frequently. At first, I was happy about it. We'd grab coffee, she'd talk about wedding plans, and it felt like we were closer than we'd been in years. I should have recognized the reconnaissance mission for what it was. Last Saturday, she came over for what I thought was a casual lunch. We were sitting in my living room enjoying sandwiches from the deli downstairs when she dropped the bomb. So James, she started setting down her drink with this serious expression. I've been thinking about the bedroom situation. I was confused. What bedroom situation? She gestured around my apartment like it was obvious. Well, your master bedroom. It's really too luxurious for just one person, don't you think? I laughed, thinking she was joking. Good thing I'm the one person who paid for it then. Her face didn't change. I'm being serious. Tyler and I are getting married next year. We need more space than you do. It would make so much more sense for us to have the master bedroom. You could easily fit in the guest room. It's perfectly adequate for a single guy. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. It never came. Emily, are you seriously suggesting I give up my bedroom in my apartment to you and Tyler? She leaned forward, using what I now recognize as her teacher explaining to a difficult child voice. Think about it logically. You're one person in a king-sized bed. Tyler and I would be 2 people. We need the closet space for both our clothes. The suite would be so much more convenient for a couple getting ready in the mornings, and that balcony would be perfect for romantic evenings. When do you even use it? Every morning with my coffee, I said flatly, because it's my balcony and my bedroom in my apartment. She rolled her eyes. You're not listening. I'm not saying we'd take over your apartment, just the bedroom. We could work out a fair arrangement. Maybe we could even contribute something toward the mortgage to help out. Help out? I don't need help. I can afford my mortgage just fine, which is why I bought this place. God, why are you being so selfish? She was getting upset now. Do you know how hard it is for young couples to find affordable housing in this city? Tyler and I are trying to save for our wedding and our future. Meanwhile, you're here hoarding all this space you don't even need. Hoarding Emily. I bought this apartment with my own money that I earned at my job. Family helps family, she said, pulling out what I knew was going to be her trump card. Mom and Dad helped you with college. They paid for both our colleges equally, and I've already paid them back my portion, which you know. She stood up abruptly. I can't believe you're being like this. I thought you'd be happy for me finding love and starting a new chapter. Instead, you're choosing square footage over your own sister's happiness. My square footage that I pay $2,800 a month for, plus HOA fees, plus property taxes. She stormed out, slamming the door. I figured that would be the end of her ridiculous request. I was wrong. The next morning, my phone started blowing up. My mother called, her voice dripping with disappointment. James, Emily told me about your conversation. I have to say I'm surprised by your attitude. My attitude, Mom? She wants me to give up my bedroom. She wants to share the space. There's a difference. And frankly, it would be good for you to learn to share. You've been living alone too long. You're becoming selfish. I'm selfish because I want to sleep in the bedroom I pay for. You're selfish because you can't see past your own needs. Emily is getting married. This is a special time for her. The least you could do is consider her feelings. My dad texted later. Your mother is upset. Maybe just think about it. Then the guilt campaign started. Emily began texting me links to articles about the housing crisis in Seattle Stories about families living in cars, statistics about how millennials can't afford homes. Each message ended with something like, "But I guess some of us are lucky enough to have more than we need." She posted on Facebook about how blessed she was to have Tyler, who understands that life isn't about material possessions, but about building a future together. The subtext wasn't subtle. By Wednesday, I'd heard from 3 aunts, 2 uncles, and my grandmother, all with variations of family, helps family, and disappointment that I wasn't stepping up for my sister. Here's what gets me. Emily has options. She and Tyler both have jobs. They could move to a 1-bedroom. They could get roommates. They could move to a less expensive neighborhood. But instead, her solution is that I should give up my master bedroom and live in my guest room like some kind of tenant in my own home. The guest room, by the way, is 10 by 11 feet. It has one small window facing the parking structure. No closet, just a wardrobe I assembled from IKEA. I use it for my platine-free weights and storage. But apparently that's perfectly adequate for me. Am I crazy? Is there some universe where this request makes sense? Because everyone in my family is acting like I'm the unreasonable one, and I'm starting to question reality itself. Update 1. 2 weeks later, the situation has escalated beyond anything I could have imagined, and I need to document this insanity. After my original post, I tried to put the whole thing behind me. I figured Emily would realize how ridiculous her request was, and we'd move on. Instead, she apparently took my silence as an opportunity to escalate her campaign. She texted me last Sunday asking if she could come over to clear the air and apologize for coming on too strong. I'm an idiot who believes in second chances, so I said yes. She asked if she could bring Tyler because he feels bad about the whole misunderstanding too. They showed up at 2 p.m. with Starbucks and apologetic smiles. Emily hugged me and said she'd been too emotional before. We sat down in the living room, and for about 5 minutes I thought we were having a breakthrough. Then Emily said, "So we've been thinking about how to make this work for everyone." My stomach dropped. Make what work? The bedroom situation. We realized we came at it wrong before. Tyler, show him what we put together. Tyler, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, pulled out his phone and showed me they'd created a whole financial breakdown. A current rent, they pay $1,800 per month for their studio. A proposed rent to me, $400 per month for the master bedroom. Savings. I'd have not having to clean such a large space. Benefits to me, built-in friends, home-cooked meals, someone to watch the apartment when I travel. See, Emily said brightly. Everyone wins. How do I win? By paying $2,800 a month to live in my own guest room while you pay $400 to live in my master. You're not looking at the intangibles, she insisted. Family connection, coming home to people who care about you, shared meals. I don't want roommates. That's why I bought my own place. That's when she pulled out the measuring tape. Well, let's just see if our furniture would even fit before we reject the idea completely, she said, already heading to my bedroom. I followed in disbelief as she burst into my room and started measuring walls, talking rapidly to Tyler. Our dresser would go perfectly here. And look, there's room for both nightstands. Oh, and this closet, Tyler, come look at this closet. She was in my walk-in closet, running her hands along my custom shelving when she said the thing that made me snap. We'll need to take out some of these shelves, but that's fine. James doesn't need this much space for one person's clothes. Get out. They both froze. Emily tried to laugh it off. James, get off of the apartment now. Tyler mumbled something about leaving, but Emily doubled down. This is exactly your problem. You can't even have a rational discussion without flying off the handle. How are we supposed to make plans if you won't even plans? There are no plans. This is my home. You don't live here. You will never live here. Get out. I practically herded them to the door. Emily was yelling about my anger issues and how I was ruining everything while Tyler kept trying to pull her away. The last thing she shouted was, "I'm telling Mom and Dad about this." 20 minutes later, my phone exploded. "Mom, did you really scream at your sister? Dad, your mother is crying. Call me." Emily, I hope you're happy. Tyler thinks your family is crazy now. Aunt Patricia, I heard you made Emily cry. What's going on? The family phone tree was in full effect. By evening, the story had morphed into me violently throwing them out and threatening them. My uncle called to ask if I needed anger management. But the worst part came the next day. I woke up to 47 Instagram notifications. Emily had posted a series of stories or a selfie in my bedroom. When did she take this with dreaming of the day 2 hearts? A photo of my closet with goals of smiling face with heart eyes. A picture of the view from my balcony with future morning coffee spot with @Tyler Williams. And finally, a black screen with white text when your own family won't support your dreams, broken heart. My DMs were full of her friends asking what happened. Was I selling my place? Why was I being mean to her, etc. Some mutual friends were confused, thinking I'd promised her the room and then backed out. I had to post my own story, clarifying that I own this apartment, live in it, and have never offered to give up my bedroom to anyone. The fact that I even had to say that out loud is insane. Emily then started a group chat with me, her and our parents, called Family Housing Solution, where she posted a schedule. A week 1 to 2, James starts moving personal items to guest room. A week 3 to 4, Emily and Tyler bring over essential furniture. A month 2, full transition complete. A month 3, begin trial period of new arrangement. I left the group chat immediately. Mom re-added me. I left again. She called crying, saying I was tearing the family apart. I'm now getting daily messages from Emily with Zillow listings for one-bedroom apartments perfect for a bachelor and articles about tiny house living. Yesterday, she sent a link to an article titled, "Why Minimalism is the Key to Happiness," with a message this could be so freeing for you. Tyler hasn't said a word through all this. I'm starting to think he's either completely under her spell or he's in too deep to escape. I've changed my locks and informed my building security that no one is allowed up without my explicit permission. Emily called this paranoid and hurtful. I'm seriously considering going no contact until she accepts reality. This can't be normal. It can't be. Update 2, 1 month later. I thought I'd seen peak delusion. I was wrong. The last month has been a masterclass in manipulation, entitlement, and family dysfunction that would make a therapist rich. After changing my locks and alerting building security, I enjoyed 2 weeks of relative peace. Emily was giving me the cold shoulder, which was honestly a relief. I was starting to think maybe she'd finally accepted reality. Then came the ambush. My mom invited me for Sunday dinner last week. "Just family," she said. "Your dad misses you." I should have known better, but I missed them too. I walked into my childhood home to find the dining room set up like a corporate boardroom. Emily and Tyler were there, sitting on one side of the table with laptops open. My parents sat at the head of the table with printed documents in front of them. "Sit down, James," my father said in his business voice, the one he used when he was still working as a financial advisor. "We need to have a family meeting about the apartment situation." "There is no situation," I said, but sat down anyway out of shock more than compliance. Mom started, "James, we've let this go on too long. Family means compromise. Emily has prepared a presentation to help us find a solution that works for everyone." "A presentation?" Emily opened her laptop and started an actual PowerPoint titled "Optimal Living Arrangements for the Mitchell Family." Slide 1. The problem. Apparently the problem was inefficient use of space and misallocated resources. Slide 2. Market analysis. Comparative rental prices showing how much Tyler and Emily were overpaying for their studio while I was underutilizing my 2-bedroom. Slide 3. Proposed solution. Floor plans of my apartment with areas labeled Emily and Tyler's space master bedroom and bathroom, and James's space guest room and hall bathroom. Slide 4. Financial breakdown. They would pay me $400 per month, but I would save money because they'd share groceries and utilities. She actually calculated that I'd save $200 per month with their contribution. Slide 5. Lifestyle benefits bullet points about how I'd have built-in social life home security when traveling and family bonding opportunities. Slide 6. Transition timeline. A Gantt chart showing the move-in process over 6 weeks. Slide 7. Guest room optimization. Links to Murphy beds, space-saving furniture, and bachelor pad inspiration Pinterest boards. Slide 8. Success metrics. How we'd measure the success of this arrangement after 6 months. I sat through this in stunned silence. When she finished, she looked at me expectantly like she just solved world hunger. "No," I said, "you didn't even ask questions about the details," Emily protested. "Because the answer is no, to all of it, forever." That's when Tyler finally spoke. "We gave notice on our apartment." The room went silent. Even my parents looked shocked. What I asked?" Emily rushed to explain. "We knew you'd come around once you saw the logic laid out. Our lease was month to month anyway, and this way we're not wasting money on December rent when we'll be moving. You're not moving into my apartment, but we already told our landlord." Emily's voice was rising. "Where are we supposed to go?" "That sounds like a you problem that you created by assuming you could steal my bedroom." My mother interjected. "Steal is a very harsh word, James. What would you call it when someone tries to take something that belongs to someone else without permission?" sharing, Emily said. "It's called sharing. Sharing is voluntary. This is attempted theft with a PowerPoint." My dad finally showed some backbone. Emily, you really gave up your apartment without asking James first? She turned on the tears immediately. I thought my family would support me. I thought my brother would want to help me start my married life. Instead, he's choosing square footage over family. You chose homelessness over reality, I shot back. That's when the real manipulation started. Mom began crying about how her children couldn't get along. Dad said he was disappointed in both of us for letting it get this far. Emily sobbed about how her engagement was being ruined, how she'd have to postpone the wedding because they'd need to spend their savings on a security deposit somewhere else. Tyler sat there looking like he wanted to disappear into the floor. I stood up to leave. Emily, you created this problem. You fix it. And to be crystal clear, if I find out you've been in my apartment without permission, I'm calling the police. You'd call the police on your own sister? My mom gasped. If she breaks into my home? Yes. I left to the sound of Emily wailing and my mother trying to comfort her while shooting me disappointed looks. That was a week ago. Since then, Emily has been calling me from different numbers after I blocked her, and my parents have been alternating between guilt trips and anger. Various relatives have reached out to tell me I'm breaking my mother's heart. Emily started a GoFundMe for her emergency housing situation. It raised $73 mostly from her teacher friends. She's been apartment hunting and apparently telling landlords she needs a place urgently because her brother evicted her. I know because one landlord called my building to verify since she listed my address as her previous residence. But here's the kicker. Tyler reached out privately yesterday. He wanted to meet for coffee. Against my better judgment, I agreed. He looked exhausted. Apparently, Emily had convinced him that I'd already agreed to the bedroom swap months ago and was now backing out. She'd shown him edited text conversations where my "we'll see" responses to her visiting were framed as agreement to the plan. He only found out the truth during the family dinner when I clearly had no idea about any of it. Man, I'm sorry, he said. I didn't know she was like this. She made it sound so reasonable when she explained it. Family helping family and all that. I asked him why he was still with her. He stared into his coffee for a long moment. The wedding invitations are already sent. Deposits are paid and maybe she'll calm down once we have our own place. Poor bastard. I gave him the number for a good couples therapist and wished him luck. He's going to need it. As of today, Emily and Tyler are crashing with her friend while apartment hunting. She's posted multiple times about family betrayal and starting fresh despite setbacks. My mom calls daily to update me on Emily's apartment search as if I care. Each call ends with, "I hope you're happy." Or, "I hope you can live with yourself." I'm living with myself just fine in my own bedroom in my own apartment where I belong. Update 3. 3 months after original post. This is my final update because I've had to take legal action and I'm done with this entire circus. After my last post, things were relatively quiet for a few weeks. Emily found a one-bedroom apartment more expensive than their old place, which she made sure everyone knew. And I thought maybe we could move past this. I was prepared to slowly rebuild our relationship once she accepted reality. I should have known the silence was just the calm before the storm. 3 weeks ago, I went to Vancouver for a work conference, a 5-day trip. I'd been hesitant to leave given everything that happened, but I had presentations to give and couldn't miss it. I made sure building security knew I was gone and reminded them about the no visitors policy. When I came back, something felt off the moment I walked into my apartment. Nothing obvious at first, just that feeling when things aren't quite where you left them. Then I went into my bedroom. My furniture had been rearranged completely. My bed was against a different wall. My reading chair was gone, replaced with a vanity table I'd never seen before. There were throw pillows everywhere, pink and gold ones that absolutely weren't mine. My minimalist artwork had been replaced with live laugh love style quotes in cursive fonts. There was a framed engagement photo of Emily and Tyler on my nightstand. But the worst part, my closet, my beautiful organized closet, had been optimized. My clothes were crammed into 1/3 of the space. The rest was filled with Emily's things, dresses, shoes, bags, all organized with little labels. She'd even installed additional rods and shelving drilling into my custom system. I stood there in shock, then rage, then pulled out my phone to call the police. That's when I noticed the calendar on my kitchen counter. The same one from before, but now with official move-in dates and a roommate agreement contract with signature lines. I checked my security camera footage. Thank God I had a hidden one Emily didn't know about. 3 days into my trip, my mother had come to the building. She told security she needed to water my plants. I don't have plants, and that I'd given her permission. She had a key. Turns out, she'd had copies made from the spare I'd given her years ago for emergencies. The footage showed her letting in Emily, Tyler, and 2 of Emily's friends. They spent hours redecorating. Emily narrated the whole thing like she was on HGTV. This is where we'll put our wedding photos, and Tyler's gaming setup will be perfect here. They'd even started moving boxes of their things in. I called the police immediately. While waiting for them, I documented everything with photos and videos. The officers who showed up were professional, but clearly thought this was just a family dispute until I showed them the lease, the security footage, and the cease and desist letter I'd sent previously. Emily and Tyler were at my apartment within an hour, alerted by my mother. Emily tried to spin it as a surprise makeover and that she was helping me prepare for their move in. She actually told the police that we had a verbal agreement and she was just getting things ready. The officers made them remove every single item they brought in. Emily cried the entire time, alternating between calling me heartless and begging me to see reason. Tyler said nothing, just moved boxes with dead eyes. My mother showed up and tried to interfere, telling the police this was a family matter and they didn't need to be involved. One officer explained that breaking and entering is a crime regardless of family relationships. Mom actually said, "It's not breaking in if you have a key." I pressed charges yes against my own mother and sister. The fallout was immediate and nuclear, and my father called me screaming, then crying, then screaming again. Emily posted a sob story on Facebook about being arrested for trying to help my brother. Extended family members blew up my phone with everything from death threats to Bible verses, and my grandmother left me a voicemail saying I was no longer her grandson. Emily's friends started a harassment campaign on social media, and my mother told everyone I was having a mental breakdown and needed help. But here's what also happened. I implemented stricter security protocols. I got a restraining order against Emily, and my lawyer sent letters to my parents and Emily demanding the return of all keys. I installed additional locks and a new security system. Tyler broke up with Emily. That last one surprised me. Tyler called me a week after the incident. Apparently, the police involvement was his wake-up call. He'd been having doubts since the family dinner ambush, but seeing Emily lie to police officers about a verbal agreement that never existed made him realize what he was signing up for. She had our whole life planned out, he said, including where we'd live. Apparently, I kept asking her what would happen when you came back from your trip, and she just kept saying you'd understand once you saw how nice it looked. The wedding is off. Emily is now living with her friend and has pivoted to being the victim of both her heartless brother and her commitment-phobic ex-fiancé. She started a blog about surviving family trauma and betrayal. As for the legal consequences, Emily received a formal warning and the restraining order. My mother was charged with criminal trespass but got a plea deal for community service. The family is split. About half think I'm the devil incarnate. The other half quietly support me but don't want to deal with Emily's wrath. I've been in therapy dealing with all of this. My therapist says what Emily exhibited is a form of delusional entitlement often enabled by family systems. She literally couldn't comprehend that my property wasn't communal family property. In her mind, my success was a family success meant to be shared whether I agreed or not. My parents are in Coop's therapy now. Dad admitted he's been enabling Emily's behavior for years because it was easier than dealing with her reactions. Mom still thinks I overreacted, but is starting to understand that she crossed a legal line, not just a family boundary. Last week I put my apartment on the market. Not because Emily won, but because I need a fresh start. I'm looking at places in a different neighborhood, maybe even a different city. Somewhere with excellent security and no family members with keys. Emily found out about the sale. Of course she did. And actually texted me from a friend's phone. "So you're selling our apartment. Where are we supposed to live now?" I didn't respond. There's no point. Final thoughts. This whole experience has taught me that sometimes family can be your biggest threat to personal boundaries. Emily wasn't just entitled, she was delusional. And my parents enabled it to the point of criminal behavior. I've lost most of my family over this, but I've kept my sanity, my autonomy, and my right to live in my own bedroom. That's worth more than maintaining relationships with people who think my possessions are theirs to take. To anyone dealing with similar boundary-crossing family members, document everything. Install cameras. Don't give out keys. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting what's yours. My new place will have a doorman, multiple security checkpoints, and no spare keys for anyone. Emily can write all the blog posts she wants about family trauma. I'll be living my life in my own space on my own terms. The apartment sold yesterday. I close next month. Emily doesn't know where I'm moving and I plan to keep it that way. Sometimes the best family is the one you choose. And I'm choosing friends who respect boundaries therapy to heal from this mess and a future where my bedroom is unquestionably mine. Edit. For those asking, yes, Tyler is doing okay. We've actually become friends through this weird trauma bonding. He's in therapy too, and grateful he saw Emily's true colors before the wedding. He sent me a thank you card last week that said, "Thanks for accidentally saving my life." We grab beers sometimes and laugh about how insane this all was. He's dating someone new who apparently thinks having your own apartment is perfectly normal. Revolutionary concept, I know.